Good morning, or whatever time it is where you're at. I'm doing a morning podcast this morning. We'll see if my kids wake up while I'm in the middle of this, but if they do, we'll just roll with it. Welcome to the Genuine Ginger podcast. I'm going to talk in a little bit of a quieter voice. Hopefully they'll stay asleep. Thanks for being here. I hope you're doing fabulous. I hope you're having a great day and the weather is great and you're just doing really, really good. I'm doing really, really good. And I kind of want to talk about that today. We're going to talk about puzzles. I hope you like puzzles, or at least I hope you have done a puzzle, or you're familiar with puzzles. I think most of us are at least familiar with puzzles. I love doing puzzles. So I've been really good lately. It's been interesting because when I started this podcast, I shared my story about how all my life I wanted to be a wife and a mom and a homemaker, and then I became that, and I realized it wasn't what I thought it would be, and I kind of had to find things outside of motherhood that fulfilled me, and that was really good for me. And over the last year, I feel like I am coming back to being just, air quotes, just a wife and mom and homemaker, and I love it. I am now 10 years later. My oldest child is 10 years old. 10 years later, I am finding joy and fulfillment in being a wife and a mom and a homemaker. And I mean, not to say that means that I'm loving every minute of every day. I still, last night I sat at the kitchen table for like 10 minutes after dinner just because I didn't want to get up and clean up after dinner. I enjoyed making the dinner. I just don't quite enjoy cleaning up. There's been contention in my home. Like, it's not, that doesn't, I don't want you to, just because I'm saying that I am finding fulfillment and joy in, and I'm loving where I'm at, does not mean that things are picture perfect. I'm just practicing romanticizing and, really, accentuating and adding energy to those good parts of it, and really dwelling on that part, the good parts, and making those more meaningful and more important and more prominent than, in my mind, than the hard parts. So I was talking to a friend yesterday, or a couple, I don't know, whatever day it was, a couple mornings ago, and she and I, every so often we get together and chat, and we actually do energy work together. But we don't have to, you could just ignore that I said that if that is like, wait, what? We basically just get together and chat and help each other work through maybe struggles that we're going through, or help each other recognize limiting beliefs, and just help each other out. And so I was talking to her, and I was like, I'm doing really good. I'm really happy. Things are good. It had been like probably a month since we had talked. But I was like, but I don't know, like the last couple days, like the last week, I've just felt like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. Like I can't decide like if it's a missing piece, or like, but I guess I told her, I was like, because I met her through a mentor that I worked with, and she was also working with this mentor. And so I was like, when we were working with this mentor, I had these like huge, grand, big dreams, and like, I was focusing on these big dreams every day, and like every day, it was just, what can I do to help these dreams come true? And, what's my piece? It just, but it was just these big, like, things, just my vision and my dreams just felt so big and so like extraordinary, and just, I was like, I haven't felt that way for a while. And that's not to say that I don't still have big dreams. I definitely do. I have, desires that I want, and things that I want for my life and my family. But I just don't have like quite that much of like big energy around it. And I was like, so I was telling my friend, I was like, I don't know, like if I'm needing that again in my life, or if I'm like, or if I think I do, but I really don't. Like, I feel like but I just feel like there's this piece, and I can't tell if it's like a missing piece, or maybe it's not even my piece that I'm like, and she just kind of chuckled. She's like, it's so interesting that you are talking about like pieces, because just a few days ago I shared this this analogy with some people that I had written down. And so she read this to me, and she gave me her permission to share this on here. And jokingly, I was like, after she read it to me, I was like, okay, well, you need to write a book about that, because that is an amazing analogy. Like that could become a book. So if in the future you see a book by Shanna Jones Price about puzzles or anything, I think she's kind of got a couple books that she's wanting to write. This is it. But so this is what she had written. She said, my life is a puzzle, which, like I said, I just love puzzles. So I love this analogy. My life is a puzzle. God holds the box and some of the pieces. He knows what it is supposed to look like. So like he knows what the picture is supposed to look like. Ask him if I've got the pieces in the right place so far, then ask him to see what the picture looks like, or what it's supposed to look like. She goes on to say, sometimes we pick up stray pieces or pieces that belong in someone else's puzzle, because sometimes our lives collide with someone else and our pieces fall on the floor. Then when we're picking them up, we might get others mixed in with ours and ours mixed in with theirs. Or we pick up a piece that we just really want because it's a pretty color or it's shiny or whatever. So ask God to remove the pieces that don't belong in your puzzle. He gives us each next piece when it's time. Ask to be ready for the next piece. Ask to see where it goes and how it fits. Sometimes we have to ask for the next pieces. Most importantly, we need to see the picture clearly through his eyes. Remember, he is holding the box. So obviously these are just, some thoughts that she had jotted down. And so there's kind of maybe some, it's kind of jumping around, but you get the general idea. And I just loved it. He gives us each next piece when it's time. And I feel like, and anyway, so then after she shared this to me, we went on to just keep kind of talking, and other thoughts came in that kind of worked perfectly with this analogy, that like sometimes, we're holding, like she mentioned, sometimes we're holding a piece because it's just so pretty and like, look at the color and I just really want it to fit, but it's not that that's not your piece. It's just that it's not the right time for that piece. And so we just got to set it down, be okay with setting it down and waiting until it's the right time to put it in, until other pieces have fit into place, so that that piece can fit into our lives in a way that makes sense and to where it fits, and it makes the puzzle more complete, rather than just having it be this random piece that's creating an obstacle because we don't know exactly how it fits, right? Wow, I'm like, that is just now coming to me, and I hope you can see like the deeper meaning of that. So and sometimes he has a piece that we're not quite ready for, and so we have to ask to be ready for it, right? And sometimes, which we realized was probably the case with me, is that we're holding a piece that is not even ours, and we're trying to make it fit in our puzzle, but it's not our piece. And so we have to let it go. We have to give it away. Give it back to Christ. Just let it go and trust that whoever piece it is, they will find it. And so I realized that that's what was happening with me, was I was feeling like and I realized it's, all because of society's view on what a grand life looks like, that I was thinking, there was a part of me that was feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or my dreams aren't big enough, or I'm not acting in big enough ways to have big dreams and to receive these big dreams. And, I'm not living my life like so and so who has big dreams, and I have big dreams too, so I should be living my life like her. And just but it was again, it was other people's ideas and other like society's view of what I should be doing, and that's the peace that I was holding, but it wasn't my peace. That wasn't my peace. I don't need to have that sort of grand action or that grand type of vision for my life. And I don't have like, and I came to realize like, I actually, because I do believe that I have a grand life, but it's simple. It's quiet. It's not busy. And for me, that is grand. That is magnificent. That is like, I have created this life. I have intentionally made choices that have put me where I am right now, because this is the life that I am choosing to live. I could definitely be busier. I could definitely, be choosing to do more and bigger things and go out there and, all these just big, massive actions that we see, I don't know, big entrepreneurs or big life coaches or whatever sharing about on social media or these stories that we hear or whatever. I could do that. I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to. And that is okay. It's okay that I just kind of want this simpler, smaller life, because to me, that is a grand life. And it doesn't mean that I'm not having a grand life, and I don't want my life to continue to evolve and become better and better and better. It just doesn't have to look the same way that other people's lives, other people that are sharing that they have this amazing life and they're so in love with life. If your life looks different than theirs, it doesn't mean that your life is any less grand and amazing. And you don't have to be any less in love with your life because it looks different from someone else's. Okay. And once as we were talking, and once I just like gave myself permission to be completely in love with my life exactly how it is, and that I don't need another piece. I don't need a piece that looks like a piece that someone else thinks I should have. I felt like just such a weight and come off of me, and just such like just this like coziness of like, oh yes, like just such a warmth and just a good feeling about where I am right now. And like I said, that doesn't mean that I don't want growth and I don't want change and I don't want more for my life. It just doesn't have, it's just the way that I want it and the way that I know that God wants it for me. And I am making sure that I am staying open to God's counsels and to his voice, and I pray to have eyes to see and ears to hear his plan for me, his plan for me, not someone else's plan, not his plan for someone else's plan, right? What does my plan, what does my life need to look like? Because that is the life that's meant for me. And my, my personality and my habits and my gifts and my family's habits and my family's, just all the things, right? And as we continued chatting, my friend and I, she was saying like, it just feels like, she's very intuitive, and we're both very intuitive, and I have a guest. I'm almost done. Good morning. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? You need a snack? Okay, go get a snack. Close the door, please. She was just like, it feels like, it doesn't feel like there's anything missing. It just feels like, you need to let this piece go. It's not your piece. And it feels like it's complete. Like your puzzle right now is complete. And she was like, I think it's a puzzle that has different puzzles within it, and then and so then in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, like we see those puzzles where it's kind of like a montage, or it's a collage of, like I just did a puzzle with my kids where it was, wait, did we do this puzzle yet? I don't remember, but I bought this puzzle where it's the different covers of the Harry Potter books, right? So it's like 7, right? I get mixed up with the movies and the books. 7. It's 7 different pictures kind of within this one picture, right? And so like I had the vision of like, oh yeah, like this little picture within the big picture is complete. And then as we went on to think about it, she was like, oh no, I think actually our puzzle is a 3D puzzle. And so there's layers to it. There's layers of depth and layers of growth and layers of, magnificence and wonder and becoming, and this layer is complete. Which, I guess both of those analogies work, whichever one fits more, but like it, so then I wrote in my notes, like, there are layers and we can find completeness when a layer is finished. And I feel that sense of just completeness. And I guess my invitation to you is to recognize that maybe that might be happening in your life right now. Maybe you don't need to stop. Maybe it's okay for you to kind of slow down right now. And I feel this so strongly, especially where we are, in the seasons of the seasons, if you're in the Western Hemisphere like I am, in the United States, or, anywhere, I guess, in the Western Hemisphere, right now it's fall. And so it is very much energetically in our world right now. For those of us, this season is a time of kind of winding down and kind of like a little bit of this completeness energy of wrapping things up and finishing up. And I can feel that. And I feel like God is telling me, like, yeah, like, and now, like, we have the holidays coming up and you get to just savor, you get to just, enjoy this next, this next part of your life. You don't have to, there's nothing that you have to be doing right now. You can just be right now. You can just be in this energy of just savoring and this warmth and this coziness that we tend to feel in this time of year, especially, like I said, with the holidays around the corner. And that is my invitation to you as well. And then just to finish up a couple more thoughts, as we continued this conversation, my friend and I, she mentioned something about, the puzzle is complete, and it now it has this, like, how when you're doing a puzzle to preserve, and you want to preserve it, that you put like the glue on top of it, or like a sealant or whatever. And she's like, yeah, like you can like put that sealant on it now, because like it's complete right now. And the lines are now becoming removed, and you can see the picture, the picture clearer. Excuse me. And I had this thought come in that, like, oh, excuse me. We put a cover or a sealant on it to kind of remove the lines, right? So that it can become solid. And that cover is Jesus Christ's atonement. It's Jesus Christ and his atonement. And I haven't pondered on that more to really get even more clarity on exactly how that is true, but I know that is true. He makes us complete. He, in any phase of life that we are in, he makes us complete. He makes us perfect, even though we are still imperfect. We can be both of those things at the same time. We can be imperfect and perfect at the same time. And I remember, and I might have shared this already on here, but I remember a few months ago, I was laying in bed one night and I was feeling some sadness because my life wasn't that picture perfect life that I had imagined it being, that I had dreamt of it being all my life, right? Which that sounds a little bit dramatic, because I realize that I'm barely 30 2 years old, and so I still have a lot of life ahead of me. But up until this point, where I thought that I would be right now before I got here, as a young kid, it just hasn't been the picture perfect life that I thought it would be. And I remember in that moment when I was laying in bed thinking that, I had the thought, oh, my computer just turned off. Okay. I had the thought that I actually don't want my life to be picture perfect, because if it was picture perfect, there would be no need for Christ in my life. And I definitely want him in my life, because he makes the picture perfect. And I want that piece. I want that sealant and that cover in my life. I don't want it to be picture perfect, because then there's no need for him, and I want him. So it's okay that your life isn't picture perfect. And it's okay that you don't know what the whole puzzle looks like right now. Just maybe just decide and ask if it's complete for now, and invite Christ to help it become complete right now. And that's obviously, something that we have to do on a daily basis, is to turn to him and to invite him into our lives. But I just feel that so much right now. This feeling of it's okay to slow down, and it's okay to just savor these next few months. And so I know that for most people, it ends up being a very, very busy, I wasn't planning on heading in this direction, but I feel like this is such perfect timing. Of course, this is why I was probably one of the many reasons that I felt nudged to share this. But as we are heading into the holiday seasons, and the tendency is to get very, very busy. And I realize that a lot of times that is, there are things outside of our control that make us busy. But when you do have the control, and you might have the control more often than you realize, I invite you to slow down. Surprise, surprise. I invite you to just be more and do less. Just savor more, do less. I saw a meme or a post or whatever. I feel like I see it every year, but my friend shared it again, of just, giving you permission to not do those things that are going to add stress. Not, you don't have to go over the top with presents that are going to put you in debt, that are going to be stressful, or continue with traditions that you have had that are stressful for you, that are just too much and maybe unnecessary, right? It's okay for you to change the trajectory of what your holidays look like. It's okay for you to change the traditions if they are no longer something that is helping you and your family. It's okay to simplify. It's okay to focus on the traditions that are the most important. And for me and my family, I desire that to be those traditions that help us focus on Christ and help us focus on spreading joy and kindness and love and generosity. So I've just been like I just keep doing this like nuzzled up, like cozy. You can't see what I'm doing, but just like, I hopefully you could hear it in my voice of just like this coziness and this, I hope that you're feeling that energy. And that you can feel some completeness, if that is, I'm not saying that maybe not everyone is in a stage in their life where they are complete, but you are. In some ways you are. And so I invite you to recognize that and give yourself a little pat on the back, and just allow yourself to savor that. So, all right. I love you lots, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.